Welcome back, everyone. Episode 143 of Quest for You. I can't believe I've already recorded 143 episodes. Pretty amazing. And I hope by now you have mentioned my podcast to friends, family. All these episodes can be listened to at any time. You can catch up on quite a few on a boring day, on a rainy day, on a long drive. Because my goal this year is to get the word out on my podcast. So definitely, I need your help. So we spent 2 long episodes talking about food. And I promise, today I'm going to wrap it up. Otherwise, I'm afraid you'll begin to think that this podcast is about food and diet and losing weight. And while that's not the case, I do hope you see that on the quest for you, everything matters. The quest for your best you involves not just a right mindset, good thoughts, positive attitude, and strong values, and clear intentions, and all the things that we always talk about. You can only go so far if you don't also consider your physical well-being. You hear me often speak about exercise. Exercise is the cure to so many maladies, mental and physical. Your mind and your body are in constant interaction. A sluggish and tired body will perform less optimal on mental tasks, and the other way around. A stressed and overburdened mind will have even less energy for a morning run. So food is important. It fuels not only your body by satiating your hunger, it also provides energy to the mind. And that's why we talk about it, because we want to be our best in all aspects. Hunger starts in the body. Everyone knows that feeling, a growling in the pit of your stomach, a sense of emptiness in the belly that requires filling. That is the hormone known as ghrelin. Ghrelin is produced in your gut as a way to signal to your brain that you're hungry. And then your brain communicates with you. The brain commands the release of a second hormone called neuropeptide Y. And that one stimulates appetite. And here is where the mind comes into play. The pace and the high stress combined with the convenience of modern life means choosing what to eat is often a reactionary rather than a conscious choice, unfortunately. Your body needs 5 basic building blocks in order to survive and to function properly. These 5 nutrients are carbohydrates, proteins, fats, vitamins, and minerals. And a good balanced diet will provide the right amount of each of these to your body. But as we all know so well, at the time of eating, our minds get involved. And now it's not so much a matter of what the body needs anymore, but what we want. Or should I say, crave? There is not much nutritional value in a donut. And that's why we often use a donut as an example to illustrate bad food. Because a donut is literally that. It looks like the most amazing thing in the world. It's probably the worst thing in the world. You may be hungry, but the donut is less a need, but more a want. The problem is, if you had a donut before and you liked it, your brain remembers that experience. The sugary treat, the fat, all of that releases chemicals known as opioids that bind with receptors in the brain. And what happens when we like something, when we experience sensory pleasure and satisfaction? Well, you probably heard of dopamine, and that hormone is released. It's also called the feel-good hormone because it does make us happy. Look around at people that eat something really good. Look at their faces. You can see it in their entire expression. It's the same when we fall in love. Your brain remembers the enjoyment response when you first had that donut. And this memory will encourage you to grab another one when it happens to show up, in order to repeat that pleasurable feeling. So, it's no wonder it's so hard to control our cravings. But the chemicals in our body are only partially to blame. A lot is also driven by our behaviors. So before I share my approach to a healthy diet, I want to give you a few tips to help you facilitate the journey to a healthier you. Most of these you already know, but listen again. They are the most important lessons I've learned along the way. And believe me, I'm still on the way. The experiences and lessons never end, especially if you continue moving. Now, if you make the same mistakes over and over again, then your lessons will be the same over and over again. But if you try to change it up a little bit, you will learn something new, and now you can tweak your approach. So here are my tips. 1, go back to the previous 2 episodes. There's a lot of information there that really should help you, and there are building blocks to this episode. 2, your appetite and your hunger are not fixed. They can be trained, just like your willpower. This includes the food your body craves, or you think it craves, and the times that you eat. Just because you always ate breakfast at 8 doesn't mean that this is what you need. It can be changed. Keep that in mind. Your body is highly adaptable. 3, the reason I shared some of the basic biology related to hunger with you is because I want you to remember this. Ghrelin initiates hunger, and dopamine drives your appetite based on your habits. The more processed foods you eat, the more your body wants the quick and easy experience of sweet and salty. Regular food, especially after eating processed foods for many years, may appear bland to you. But this, again, is because your body adjusted to the other food. If you change what you eat, your appetite will change. It's all a matter of habit. True, you will never forget the taste of some amazing treat you ate on your last Europe vacation. But you're not in Europe right now, so you cannot have the treat. And this is where my last tip comes in. Number 4, your success with your diet and your weight loss will depend highly on your environment. I talked a lot about this. Our environment is unfortunately not very supportive. So you need to put in some work. You need to try to avoid the places, the events, and the people that trigger old eating habits. And along with this, put some strict rules in place that you can follow. I know all this can be hard, but I provide a lot of guidance on this podcast on how to pull through with strength on the things that matter. So let's start. A healthy approach to eating. Take from this what makes sense to you. It's not a diet. It's not a to-do list. It's what I have found to be the best approach that works for me after many years of experiencing. This is how I perform at my best. Doesn't mean I'm perfect. I don't always follow this to the T. But my basic rule is this. Try to be on point with whatever your goal is 80% of the time. After a party or a weekend getaway, get back on track. And the quicker you do this, the better. Because the longer you wait, the harder it will be. So let's start with breakfast. It's the first meal of the day. You just woke up. Your body is reset. It finished house cleaning. Your stomach is empty. And you basically just fasted for 8 or more hours. And it's the best time of the day because you have the whole day ahead of you. And with that, all the decisions about food you're going to make today. So, start off right. That's my key advice for breakfast. Start off right and don't mess up things right from the start. What do I mean with that? What do you give a person who just recovered from major illness? Donuts? Hamburgers? Waffles? Or other junk? I doubt it. So apply the same concept to your body. You just recovered from a night of cleaning and now you're all ready to go. Your body is clean and empty. So do the same. Yes, you may be hungry, but that doesn't mean waffles and pancakes need to be stuffed into your stomach. If you are a health-conscious person, you may be aware that there is much debate out there right now whether to even have breakfast at all or continue fasting until lunchtime. Do what works for you and experiment. This is always my basic advice. But if you have breakfast, then I recommend this. Be conscious and give your body the best nutrition you can think of. For me, that is a green shake full of nutrients. It has all the basic vitamins and minerals that my body needs, along with some green vegetables, mostly spinach, and maybe a few other ingredients. In the morning, other foods have not clogged up my system yet, so nutrients will be best absorbed. Whatever you do, start off healthy, because this will also set the tone for the rest of your day. A sugar bomb in the morning in the form of a donut or other starchy foods are so quickly digested that you'll be hungry again by 11. And your energy will be low. And it's not good for you. There's nothing really in those foods that your body can use effectively. So try something different. I realize it's hard because hard-boiled eggs are usually not served at your local coffee shop. But you can take them with you. You can add some plain yogurt with some granola in a mason jar and take that along with you as well. My goal all day is to minimize sugar. Why? Because we don't need much sugar. I can tell you, as someone who works out diligently, I have experienced the actual need for sugar. I have felt depleted and unable to perform my workout routine in the gym because I didn't have enough energy. But this happens rarely. It's usually after I consume very few carbs during the day. Then I pay the price in the gym. Carbs are energy. They provide us with fuel. But if you're heading to the office for an 8-hour day of sitting, then you don't need carbs in the morning. That is why a low-carb lifestyle works for so many people these days and results in weight loss, because we are mostly sedentary and we don't need all this energy. If the body cannot use it, it will store it in preparation for hard times. That's part of our genetic makeup. The problem is, for the majority of us at least, these hard times never come. So you just add on weight. Let's move to lunch. I continue with the same basic concept. I keep my carbs low because I'm still just standing at my desk most days. However, and here we may differ, lunch is my biggest meal of the day. I grew up this way, and I've been actually waiting for half my life ever since I arrived here in the US for this country to finally understand the benefits of this. I'm somewhat joking, but I strongly believe in light dinners. Now let me combine the first 2 points. Biggest meal, yet still low carb. So my lunch doesn't knock me out on the couch in my company's lobby. Instead, plenty of green vegetables give me some fuel, and protein will keep my body working for a while. Breaking down protein takes the longest, and that is why we feel saturated longer. So my lunch plate actually looks really full, but the calories on that plate don't add up into the thousands as it may sound. Because I minimize the carbs, because I don't need them. Not yet. Plus, I don't want to feel sluggish in the afternoon, which I used to feel a lot, and I know many people experience this. So if you switch out some of your lunch starches, the sandwich bread, the potato chips, the fries, the pasta salad, with some added meat instead, and more filling vegetables, you will also notice the difference. So let's move on. Here comes the snack, the beloved snack. I could cover an entire episode on snacks. The snacks deserves its own spot as a full meal. We love our snacks, and we actually even turn them into meals, thanks to the resourcefulness of many companies out there that serve them to us in fancy plastic wrappers. Unfortunately, they are rarely as healthy as the writing on the wrapper wants to make us believe. So don't fall into the trap, thinking by replacing your Snickers bar with a protein bar you will be better off. Because if you are a little bit like me, you still grab a few pieces of chocolate even after you had that protein bar. Don't rely on companies to tell you what's healthy. Oftentimes they're wrong, because remember, they don't necessarily have your best interest in mind. Go and do your own research. So my first advice for snacks is this. Try to avoid them by eating a bigger lunch and an earlier dinner. It's no wonder people need a snack if lunch is at noon and dinner not till 7 or later. And no wonder people need a substantial snack, because that's a big window without food. I get it. It takes a lot of resilience to wait 6 to 7 hours to eat. So if you cannot change your eating times, then try my second tip. Don't go for anything in a wrapper. It's hard, I know. I can have the best breakfast and lunch, but many of my amazing days go downhill when snack time hits. So plan your own snacks and carry them with you, and say no to everything else. My basic principles that I apply to all my foods applies to snacks as well. Keep them as natural as possible. Find minimally processed foods that you enjoy. I often have yogurt with some fruit in the afternoon. Fruit has sugar, and it will help me with the cravings. And yes, I have those afternoon cravings. And by now my body may really need some energy, as I have used a lot already by working hard. Plus I'm getting ready to work out in the evening. Here with my snack, I will have some carbs, but I will try to keep them healthy. Nuts or even a granola bar are a good option. An apple, maybe with some nut butter or some cheese. The snack is also a mental thing. I look forward to it all day. So if you want to have your Quest bar in the afternoon, do it. If that's your only indulgence in the day, or a piece of chocolate, it won't kill as long as you can control it. And especially if it's your incentive to hit the gym. Or maybe you already worked out in the morning. So then reward yourself with a snack. And lastly, dinner. And no, there is not another snack after dinner, because my dinner portion is actually really a snack. I have very little to say about dinner because I rarely eat a big dinner. Maybe on weekends when I go out, but even then, I try to eat fairly early, maybe by 6, and I usually then skipped my lunch. On my regular weeknights, I may have something small, maybe a shake, maybe a yogurt or a little cheese. So my only advice for dinner is this. Try to avoid eating close to bedtime. I realize most people in this country do eat dinner, and bigger than mine. But give your body time to digest all its food while you are awake. So when you go to bed, it can focus on sleeping and not on digesting that pint of ice cream you ate at 10 p.m. And you will feel the difference in the morning. Your sleep will be so much more improved. Maybe squeeze a walk in after dinner. That helps your body digest. This is a long episode, but this is my approach to healthy eating. Very basic, very simple. It's not a diet. It's just something I wanted to share with you as a guideline as you think about food. At all times, be conscious about the food that you eat. Don't eat mindlessly. This is how unhealthy things make their way into your system. And to end, I want to give you just a few tips on what I consider healthy foods and minimally processed foods. I alluded to this in yesterday's episodes as well, so here you go. I use plain products as my source of carbs. Yes, I have carbs, mostly in the form of veggies. Organic and local are your best options. I try to avoid any processed carbs as much as I can. They're a treat for me, once in a while. I use animal products as my source of protein. Eggs, meat, fish. Find out where they came from. Wild is always better than farmed because you don't know what food was fed to the animals at the farm. If you don't eat meat or animal products at all, you can find protein in other products. And I'm sure you already know that, but protein is important. And then I use mostly plain products, minimally processed, as my source of fat. Nuts, seeds, and oils. Cheese and yogurt have fat. Be careful on the oils and inform yourself what the healthiest options are. Nuts are also a good snack options. I tend to go for raw nuts as they are less processed than roasted nuts. All this is very basic, and you will find your body can adjust to healthy foods like these. If you're out and about a lot, get in the habit of carrying some food with you, or find places to eat using all the criteria that we've talked about. And not to discourage you, but I repeat, you will go against the grain many times. Yes, it may feel awkward when you sit in a restaurant and you chop your own cucumber on top of that salad, because all it is romaine lettuce. Or maybe you're in the airplane and you eat your hard-boiled eggs. Yeah, some people look at you in disgust. It has happened to me. Or you're at the company afternoon birthday event with your yogurt in hand because you're passing on the cake. I always found that, yes, a few people will stare, but the comments that you will get from most of the others are admiring. People will not only envy you, but they may even be inspired by you. I know at my job, my green shake always is a topic of conversation, especially when I bring it to the meetings. So I want to end here since this episode is very long. I will talk more about food in future episodes because it is important. But I wanted to get this out because I know many people have food on their mind at this time of the year, and I know a lot of people are confused about food. So keep it simple, keep it natural, Keep it close to origin. Keep it local and organic. Buy high-quality foods. And prepare the foods with care. That is my basic advice. And then play around and experiment and see what works best for you. And as always, especially after maybe these last 3 episodes, if you have questions, don't hesitate to reach out. Much love and have an amazing day.